What's up, agents? It's your resident skill builder, Jetforth here, and I finally feel like it is my time to shine. Yay! So I'm back on my PS4 account and pretty much recreated the build that I was using during the PTS, which was a very obnoxious Seeker explosive skill build. Now, obviously, at this time, I did have to make some changes because, well, we don't have the BTSU gloves. With that being said, the BTSU gloves were a very big contributing factor into getting over 1.1 million damage off of a single cluster mine hit. Not all the balls, just one ball. Yeah, that sounded bad. But this build, when everything's working right and you got all your talents working together, we should still easily be able to hit for over 1 million until we get our hands on BTSU gloves again. So this video is going to be somewhat of a shopping list and what to grind for in the next 2 weeks until Title Update 5 hits, because obviously without all the changes and everything that are coming, we're not going to be outputting that kind of damage until the update hits. I'm sorry to keep bringing this up and continually babbling when I'm sure everybody just wants to see the build, but in the previous video where I cleared out Jefferson Trade Center with using skills alone, I had a fair amount of comments of people being like, this is so boring, why would you just want to sit there and let the computer do the work alone, and The only purpose of that video was to show how incredibly powerful skills are now, and in reality they are actually more powerful than what I show. You will not be just chucking out seeker mines and turrets during a mission. It's just no. Skill builds take a lot of skill. Any skill builder, I'm sure, can tell you that it's not like that. You will continually be watching all of your talents, when to shoot, when to knock down armor, when to let your turret kill something, so that way you know when the optimal time is to throw out your seeker mine and completely devastate the field. So, in all honesty, for me, I have done DPS builds. That's more mindless to me than a skill build is when you use a skill build right. So pay attention if you want, or if you're just here to leave a dumb comment. Anyways, I'm sorry for babbling for so long. At least I wasn't telling you to like, comment, and subscribe and tell you where everything is. Wink, wink. But let's just get to the build. Nah, let's get to it. I'm done. I promise. For our specialization, we will be using the Demolitionist for the plus 25% increased explosive damage. And I still gotta say that I'm overall really happy with their changes that they made to specialization. So now we can use whatever weapon that we want. So kudos to them on that. Great change. Now on to our primary weapon, which I was lucky enough to get a custom P416 G3 with the skill talents that we need for this build. And no, the P416 is not being nerfed. That was just some really dumb developer spouting his mouth out on Twitter, and he shouldn't have, and that's part of the problem with this game, is stupid people. The first talent is a perpetuation, which is incredibly important, not gonna lie. Kills grant plus 5% skill duration, ammo, and charges to the next skill used. Max stack is 10. Now, perpetuation, kills grant plus 5 skill duration, is not going to be that big of a deal for this build. We are mainly relying upon ammo and charges, because this is going to make it so that we can stack charges into our seeker mine or our bombardier drone or whatever explosive that you are going to be using with this, so that way we don't have to take up another mod slot on our skill itself. So this is a very important perk to have. You want this on your main weapon, and it really doesn't matter if it's a custom P416, you can use an LMG here or any other auto rifle, just you want this perk in combination with recharge. While equipped, skills deployed at full armor have plus 25% duration, charges, and ammo. And again, we are just using this talent for the charges and ammo. And in all honesty, this can be on your secondary weapon or on your sidearm, just as long as you have this in your build. We want this. Other than that, the middle talent doesn't really matter all that much, and mod up your weapon that you end up with these two talents the way you see fit. Next up, we have our secondary weapon, which for me, I decided to go with a very high-powered sniper rifle, which is a Model 700 with a spike on it. Headshot kills grant plus 35% skill damage for 20 seconds. There really is no cooldown on this. Once it ends, it happens again. Our middle talent doesn't really matter. I ended up with distance plus 15% to optimal range, which is really stupid and shouldn't roll on marksman rifles, but it is what it is. What we really want here is rooted. While equipped and in cover, all skill, damage, and healing is increased by 25% for 10 seconds. Buff is lost when exiting cover and can occur once per 60 seconds. Now, rooted is a little bit funky to use, and it's one of those things that you have to pay attention to in your little bottom skill tree as everything's lighting up. So like I said, you need to have skills to use a skill build. It's not just mindless stuff. But with this being in the third slot, what I said about having recharge, these are interchangeable. As long as it's on your weapons, you're good. But you want rooted and recharged, and they can be swapped in and out with one another, depending on how nice RNG is with you. So hopefully you are following me thus far. And finally, we have our sidearm, which the only thing we're really looking for here is our third holstered talent or equipped talent, which is in rhythm. While equipped, enemy kills have a 5% chance to refresh. Active skill cooldowns can occur once every 60 seconds, which in all honesty, this isn't that important to have. With how far all the skill cooldowns are dropping, and to the point where we will maybe be able to get 3-second cooldowns on Seekers, but when it happens, it's nice that it happens. So it's play it by ear and whatnot. A good thing about this is if you can't get a sidearm to drop with this on it, the specialist sidearm for the Demolitionist actually automatically comes with this on it. So either way, you got it. But again, this is also interchangeable with rooted and recharge, so swap in and out. However, like I said, RNG praises down upon you. So to recap our weapon talents, we are using perpetuation and recharged, which will be making it so we do not have to put extra +6 mines for Seekers or +4 ammunition into our turrets or any of that nonsense. So that is giving us an extra mod slot to put in damage into our skills. And this goes for any skill build, not just a Seeker or damage. This works on everything. So this is number 1 on the shopping list, and this should be incorporated into any skill build. And finally, with Spike and Rooted working together, you are giving yourself +60% damage to your skill. So that's why we're using these. I mean, +60% is a lot of damage, and I really don't feel like I need to say much more about that. Now do I? And in rhythm is in rhythm. Just every 60 seconds, you have the 5% chance to get an extra cooldown. Now on to armor, which I will do my best not to overcomplicate this. For our mask, we want a Petrov Defense or a China Light Industries. The knee pads and the mask are interchangeable, but we want these in one of these slots. Petrov Defense plus 10% skill power, which is going up to 20 when title update 5 hits, which will take the skill power that I'm at right now, 2,809, and it's going to push it over to 3,000. Attributes plus 300 skill power, which is kind of high, not going to lie, and plus 6% cooldown reduction, which will be changing into skill haste come TU5. Talent destructive plus 20% explosive damage. And again, the knee pads and the mask are interchangeable. As long as one is a Providence and the other is a China Light, you are good to go. On to the chest piece, I am using a Gila Guard for the plus 5% total armor, and the attributes are plus 21,873 armor, plus 14,802 health, plus 419 skill power, which is honestly kind of middle of the road. The highest skill roll that I have on some of my armor is 809. So although the armor and health did roll rather high, and this is a nicely rolled chest piece, you can honestly use anything here. There isn't really any skill rolls that roll on a chest piece, so if you put Berserk or Bloodsucker or anything else on it like that, it's just kind of a waste. What you're looking for in the talents is to have one of the open circles, so that way you can roll destructive on it or get it with destructive on it, or, you know, vital or anything of that sort. Preferably destructive. But like I said, you could go with almost any chest piece here. It's really not that huge of a deal, but you do want to have skill power rolled on it. But this is a very nicely rolled chest piece. I cannot deny. Another fun fact about chess pieces is that if you are struggling to get utility and skill power and whatnot, if you get an ongoing directive chess piece, they will generally roll with 2 yellows, and you have 2 yellow mod slots that roll on them. So that could be a pretty cheap and generic way to get your utility up. So just saying, not saying. And are you bored of this video yet? Because oh my lord, so am I. Ugh. Next on the list, we have the holster, which this, in all honesty, is a for now piece until we get BTSU gloves, because this will be changing to an Araldi. But this is a Douglas and Harding with plus 5% accuracy and a ridiculous attribute roll of plus 737 skill power, and has devastating plus 5% weapon damage on it. Now, as for devastating, I would much rather have explosive damage here. And like I said, once we get BTSU gloves, I would much rather have an Araldi here for plus 10% accuracy with skill power on it. Praise the Lord of RNG, and explosive damage. But like I said, I want an Araldi holster here, and you should probably too. Next is the backpack, which this is in no way, shape, or form interchangeable at all. You want an Element Outdoors Rucksack Alps Summit armament. It needs to be that because this has 2 utility slots on it. Alps Summit comes with plus 10% cooldown reduction, which is going to 20% skill haste come TU5. This rolled with plus 424 skill power, which isn't that high, and plus 10% cooldown reduction, also not that high. The talent that I am running on this particular backpack is Tech Support. Kills by active skills grant plus 25% skill damage for 10 seconds. Now with this particular talent, it is stacking with a Rooted, and it is stacking with Spike, which if you stack them all together, that's pushing you up to plus 85% damage to your active skill. So yeah. Now, the other skill backpack talent that can roll here is skill. Skill kills have a 25% chance to reset skill cooldowns, which in all honesty isn't all that bad. I would keep an eye on this after TU5 drops to see how far down we're knocking our skill cooldowns. If we're getting 3 and 5 second seekers and whatnot, we don't really need this. Tech support is a lot better. But if we're at 10-second cooldowns and have BTSU gloves, I would honestly probably go with skill just to get those extra cooldowns in there, because that working with Rooted can be pretty ridiculous. That is how you get the whole endless seeker business going on, like I have in a previous older build that I made. So it's kind of up in the air, but tech support is rather ridiculous. So like I said, just keep an eye on your cooldowns and whatnot before switching in between these. I know it's a lot of RNG and stuff like that, but I'm just saying, keep your eye on it. Make sure this is all on your shopping list for the next 2 weeks of farming and whatnot, because it's pretty important, and this is something that I am going to be doing too, because the backpack that I have it on is not the backpack that I want it on, so stuff. Onto the gloves. These are Araldi holdings for the plus 10% accuracy. They have a plus 300 skill power, which is kind of high, and terminate for the talent. Depleting an enemy's armor grants plus 35% skill damage for 15 seconds. Kills refresh this. Now you stack terminate on top of Spike and on top of Rooted, which is 120% extra skill damage. Now, like I said though, I do want to replace these with the BTSU gloves and then put an Araldi for my holster as opposed to having the Douglas Harding. I know this is kind of complicated, and I even made a video making fun of like switching stuff around, but if you're following me, that's, yeah, I would like an Araldi Holdings holster, and I would like BTSU gloves here. But terminate on its own with Spike and Rooted all together, that's 120% extra damage to Seeker. Now, if you have all of those going together in the Title Update 5 update, you're going to be doing some serious damage. And like I said, when you're putting skills together and doing a skill build, it takes skill and thinking and shooting, depleting armor, letting your skills kill stuff, knowing when your seeker is going to kill something, when to unload everything, so that you are proccing all your talents together. And like I said, once that happens, with the cooldowns dropping, you will be able to just absolutely destroy everything. And I'm guaranteeing you, with the build the way that this is right now, we will easily be hitting over 1 million damage with a cluster mine. And I can only imagine what it would be with an irregular explosive mine. You may be into the 2 millions, probably will be into the 2 millions, which And all rights, even with clusters and the explosive in PvP, even with them saying they're going to bring down the damage in there in the ODZ, you will probably one-shot everybody in there. So I guess I'm sorry, but not sorry, but it could be the cause of everyone getting really mad and everything getting nerfed because of, well, this build. And finally, the knee pads, which are China Light Industries Corporation, plus 10% explosive damage, which is going up to 20% come TU5. Attributes, plus 7% cooldown reduction, which is really low. And for the talent, destructive, plus 20% explosive damage. And for the mod, it's an offensive mod. And like I said in the very beginning with the mask, you could swap these two pieces in and out for this could be Providence and the mask could be China Light or vice versa, but you do need a China Light and a Providence defense. So I don't know, these knee pads are pretty straightforward, but you do definitely want a piece of China Light if we are running Seekers, which that's what this build is based around. And finally, for modding out your skills, really, you're just going to want to farm for the highest damage mods that you can find, highest skill cooldown or highest skill haste that you can find. The more damage, the better. I mean, just everything about this build, if it stays the way that it was in the PTS, you're just going to annihilate everything in your path. Believe me, it's a lot of fun. I'm not going to get all in depth into showing the skill sheet of what everything does because it's all going to change. Everything is going to skyrocket come title update 5. So I'm willing to bet you're going to see this build probably everywhere, which is why I'm doing it now. And a question to ask you guys is that I have a bunch of other skill builds, and should I start releasing them now, or should I just wait till title update 5, or is it more, should I put together more shopping list type deals, or I really don't know what to do. But like I said, I feel like this is finally my time to shine for this stuff, because I do have some builds that just completely devastate everything, and that's without any of the insane title update 5 updating stuff that's going on in here. So I don't know, just a quick question for you guys, what you would like to see next. So that's all I got. Definitely hit the old like button for me if you could. If you have any questions or anything about this, I'll do my best to answer them. I'm going to try and take snapshots of everything and put it onto my Discord. I'll put a little build thing in there because I know a lot of people asked to have this all written out, and I know I flip-flopped around on everything saying like, oh, I'm not going to use this, I'm going to do it, which is annoying, and I understand that. So may not be today or tomorrow, but I'm going to try, but I will get it done and I will get it up there. So I don't know. That's all I got. I'm shutting up. Like, comment, subscribe, all that other junk, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Peace. Seriously, please hit the like button. This took way too long to make.